Welcome to the Holistic Accountant Podcast. The aim of this podcast is to demonstrate how accountants must employ a holistic approach to help their clients maximise wealth. It's not just about preparing tax returns. So each week, Mena and I will discuss topics to help you better understand some of the things your holistic accountant can help you with. Okay, today Mena and I are going to talk about getting a really good bookkeeper in your business and some of the considerations you need to take into account. So the first question I guess we should address is, do you need a bookkeeper, or is it something that you can do yourself? And it will be different for different people, I guess, but some of the considerations will be the complexity in your business. So that's the types of transactions you might your business undertakes, the volume of transactions and complexity. And then also your skills. So are you a numbers person? Are you over the top of these sorts of things? Do you have an interest in it? Because really, if you can, the more you can invest in understanding your business's figures, the better, the better information you have to manage your business. And then your technology skills. Are you good with computers and software tools and systems and so forth? If so, then maybe you could do your own bookkeeping. But ultimately, making sure you've got correct and up-to-date information is incredibly valuable in a business. So if that means you need to invest in a bookkeeper, then that's exactly what you should do. So, Mena, how do you go about finding a good bookkeeper?
I really base it on experience. So if they've got good experience, especially in your particular industry, it's industries. You could have a manufacturing industry or a retail industry or professional services. All of these require different sort of types of bookkeeping knowledge or expertise on how to apply certain, it could be industry rates in terms of payroll or bank reconciliations, or how to deal with trust accounts, for example.
Yep.
So it's really important to ask the right questions when you find a bookkeeper, and whether they've actually had experience in your particular industry. And it's important to try to outsource as many functions as you can, because let's face it, your time's probably better spent on the business rather than focusing on bank reconciliations and so forth. So, your bookkeeper should be doing your bank recs, your payroll, your BASs, or your accountant can be doing your BASs. But if your bookkeeper is going to do your BASs, make sure they're a registered BAS agent.
Yep. So how do you know, how do you decide what your bookkeeper should be doing and what your accountant should be doing? Who drives that decision?
I think it's a collaborative approach. So, sometimes a bookkeeper would like to sort of outsource the BAS processing and reconciliations and so forth, or review of their work to their accountant. Yep. So they'll do all the the bank reconciliations and let the accountant know that it's all ready for review, and the accountant will dial in and look at how everything's been sort of allocated and prepare the BAS from there. So it could be a good review process to actually have the accountant prepare the BAS and the bookkeeper just do all the bank reconciliations and payroll and so forth.
And the reason there is obviously problems can compound. Like if we're doing something incorrectly or something's been treated incorrectly and it's not picked up until year end, quite often we might be working on that tax year, several months after it's finished. So it could be 18 months later until an issue's picked up. So I think you're right, having a good relationship between your bookkeeper and an accountant, having the accountant review that information is really valuable. In terms of accounting software, I think it's really important to point out that I couldn't imagine there'd be any reason not to have a sort of cloud-based solution. So both Xero and MyOb have an online cloud-based solution, and there's some great advantages with that. Most of all, getting the bank feeds, so the information is real-time and up-to-date, and it reduces chances of errors. Also, you can dial in from anywhere in the world. You can invoice from your phone. What are some other advantages of the cloud-based?
I think security is pretty important too, as well as if you've got a desktop version of your bookkeeping system and your computer gets stolen or it goes bust, you've lost everything. So it's important to have something on the cloud, just as a protection.
Yep. So how do you go about finding a bookkeeper? Like if we've got a client, what do we do?
So your accountant should have a good referral base, whether they've got bookkeepers in-house or be able to refer a bookkeeper to you. Otherwise, Xero actually have a register of bookkeepers on their website that are Xero certified as well. So you can, and it also tells you, what particular industries they work in as well. So that's a good starting point.
Yeah, fantastic. But I think your accountant's a good starting point. They will know, they will work with either one or a few different bookkeepers, and they won't continue to work with them if they aren't any good, of course. So I think that's a great starting point. So there you go. I think bookkeeping is a very overlooked resource in a business, but have a really good bookkeeper will make your life a lot easier. Thank you for listening to the Holistic Accountant podcast. To find out more, please visit holisticaccountant.com.au.